All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. And today I'm joined by my guy, Big Steve from the Big Brain MMA podcast. Big Steve, or Steve, what's good, brother? How you doing? How you feeling about the card? And thanks for coming on, as always.
That's good, man. Always a pleasure. Been a while. Yeah, works out. I mean, I'm not doing this for my channel. I just don't have it in me. So looking forward to chatting with you. Maybe we'll find something. Yeah, a lot of the time, this will be the first time I'll be looking at props because otherwise I wouldn't even bother. So yeah, excited about it.
Yeah, I'm almost solely on props and a few parlays, but right now I have one money line, which for a UFC card for me is like a record. Daz, what's good, buddy? CT, what's up, brother? I know there's a few other shows going on right now, so thank you to anybody tuning in. And we'll hop right into the card. The first one up, we've got Jessica Rose Clark versus Tainara Lisboa. Clark, 11-8-0. She's 35 now, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. For her camp, I don't have anything down, so I'm going to go with Combat Sports Academy. If you know any better, Steve, just say it. Lisboa, 5'2-0, 32 years old. She's 3 years younger. She's going to be 1 inch taller, 1 inch reach disadvantage, and I don't have her camp either. I'll let you start this one off.
Yeah, why not? I'll start this one off just because I got the early line on Lisboa. I told the people in the Discord just to lock it in because I've seen it trending towards Pick'em. Took a while. But yeah, I only taped it now for the first time. I'm in no rush. Money's still coming in on Lisboa, and yeah, taped it, and she's okay. She's obviously Muay Thai chick. Got a bit of Loma about her, like as in Muay Thai fighter, but yeah, wants to clinch herself and wants to get takedowns herself. Yeah, obviously very very sharp on the feet. Does all the damage in the clinch and on the ground. Just fought nobodies. But yeah, I think if Jessie wants to do that whole cage pushing thing, I think she might not have it that easy because obviously this girl looks like she's good at strong hips, comes with the territory if you're a Muay Thai fighter, and she does all her damage in the clinch as well. Yeah, I kept this at Pick'em. Ultimately, I don't think I'll have my whole stake. I have a whole unit on it as a dog, and it's kind of tempting me. It reminds me of the Werner Jandiroba CLV last week. I shouldn't have hedged that at all. That would have been a grip panty. But this one, it's more. There's a little bit more uncertainty here. I haven't seen anything off the back for Lisboa. I think she lights up Jessie on the feet. I think there might be a lot of cage push, which is why I give it Pick'em. I don't know how she's going to look if Jessie takes her down. But yeah, ultimately happy to ride at least a little bit on the dog money, and then whatever happens. But yeah, and she's also been attempting some a lot of arm triangle chokes, and she's a purple belt. I see a lot of people saying, Jessie's not going to get submitted here because this chick's only a purple belt. Man, only purple belt's all you need to submit Jessie, probably. I went on her Instagram and she's been doing the same competitions as me, amateur comps in Australia, and she's getting silver medal, and she's the UFC fighter. It's pretty embarrassing. But yeah, on the dog at early line, I kept it at Pick'em. The money's still coming in on Jessie. Hopefully she's a decent dog, so the hedge out is easy. What about you?
Did you get to see the fight for Lisboa that went to decision? I couldn't find that one. I know most people couldn't.
No one can, yeah. But I've seen enough, man. I've seen enough. Even in the Noma Dumont fight, which was 2016, Noma couldn't keep her down. She kept reversing Noma and throwing her around, and that was like 6 years ago. And just ended up getting caught in the rear naked choke, just getting up too recklessly.
That was one of Norma's first fights too, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell she made bantamweight somehow, and she looks skinny. So it was a long time ago.
But yeah, for me, I mean, look, I can't bet Lisboa with this little tape. She's finishing women really early, like she's finishing people who aren't very good. What she's doing to me looks great. She looks like a great striker. She can grapple, looks really well rounded. But against trash cans, like at least we're seeing Clark fight good fighters. I can see that she's well rounded. I know that she can grapple. I know that she can strike. It's entirely possible Lisboa comes out here and she's some beast. We just don't know. So right now I'm not touching it. If Clark becomes a big enough dog, though, I'm going to take like a unit shot because she is the more experienced one. The one time Lisboa went to decision, she lost. So if this gets extended, was it a cardio problem? We're going to have to see. I'm not going to do anything with my money unless I'm getting Clark as the underdog. My original look was violence. I was maybe thinking the under at plus 175. But the more I think about it, the more I don't want to do that. So for me, it's dog or pass, and we'll see if I end up getting to a bet.
Fair. I wouldn't be playing out of this line at the moment.
No, I'm gonna wait. I want to see if I can get like plus 130 or higher, which may be possible because I just see people hitting Lisboa nonstop. So, but next up, we've got Gabe Green versus Bryan Battle. Green 11-4-0. He's 30 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Let me see what I got for him. I got Team Body Shop for his camp. Battle 8-2-0. He's actually from Charlotte. I didn't even realize till like an hour before the show. He's 2 years younger. Going to be 3 inches taller with a 4-inch reach advantage. And he's training out of Hayabusa Combat Center or MMA, whatever they call it. I'll start us off. I've never been entirely impressed with Battle, to be honest. And I think Green is pretty good. Do I think he's ever going to be top 10, 15? No. But I think he's good enough to beat Battle. I don't think Battle's there yet. I think that his striking, it's like this kind of karate style, but I'm not a huge fan. A lot of kicks, don't love them. I know he got a head kick knockout. I don't think that's going to happen here. I don't think he has the same kind of power as a guy like Lane Ness to hurt Green. And we've just seen Green go to war. He can make fights dirty, which I think he needs to do here. He's got to stop the movement of Battle, which I think he can do. He's got the pressure to make it difficult for Battle to work from range. And in the pocket against the cage, I think it's all Green. So I think Green's either going to win a decision or maybe a late finish. I got him early as the underdog, plus 100. I put a unit on it. It's my only money line play right now. So that's it for me. I mean, both guys have shown some wrestling. I don't expect it to be a thing here. I don't think either guy's like good enough to really beat the other one there. I think it's going to be a striking match, and I have to favor Green here. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I feel like it's a close fight. I get why Green is favored. The pressure and he's got the power, he's got the cardio to match Bryan, and I agree. Bryan doesn't look very convincing. I hammered him. I hammered his Russian opponent. It was weird that people were playing Bryan Battle thinking that he was going to gas out and then Bryan was going to take over. He just did absolutely nothing. But I don't think this is the same fight. Green, yeah, he will pressure, but he's not someone you can trust at minus money unless it's, a specific opponent. Like even against, Philip Rowe, he gave up a takedown. He's got negative takedown defense. And even though he can pressure, we know Bryan Battle can fight on the back foot. He did it against Gore. He won both rounds against Cameron Lechimov on Tough, which obviously not the best fighter. But Gabe's the same. Gabe pressures. He's very durable, has no defense. And just I can see him eating kicks and jabs as he's pressuring. And then his wrestling's horrendous. I see a lot of cage push either way. If Bryan Battle wants to go for takedowns, I think you can get takedowns on Green a lot easier than Gabe can get on him. Or maybe it's even. I don't know because like you said, Bryan does have bad takedown defense as well, but he's got good get-ups. Whereas Green, played a little bit of jiu-jitsu for a bit. So yeah, I think this is a close fight, and it was an easy pass for me. And then as the more money came in on Green, and then as the week is going on, and I just seen that photo of Bryan Battle looking even more ripped than before. You know what? I think I'd rather place a little bit of Battle at plus money. But yeah, haven't pulled the trigger. I'm not rushing to it. Let's see some more money on Green.
Yeah, I got the plus money on Green, so I was happy with that one. But we can move on to a banger. We got Jeon Kim versus Mandy Bohm. Kim is 9-6-2. She's 33 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. Bohm 7-2-0. She's also 33 years old. Same height, 1-inch reach disadvantage for her. So I've got Bohm at Extreme Couture. Kim, I've got her at Syndicate, although I think I heard she's now at Extreme Couture also, which wouldn't make sense. So let's throw that out the window. Steve, start us off.
Pass fight all around for me. That's all I got.
That's it.
There's nothing to talk about. It's dog or pass, and I don't really want my money on Bohm, so that's it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the first time this fight got made, I went in violence with Kim. I took a shot on her KO and late KO props, just like a volitional KO. This time around, I was gonna pass, and then I taped it again, and I was like, you know what? I want more money on Almeida, so fuck it. And I parlayed Kim with Almeida ITD. I think it came out to like minus 10 something. I'll tell you.
You're gonna be heartbroken, my friend.
Could be minus 108, 1.1 unit. I'm not going crazy. maybe Mandy Bohm can somehow win this, but watching it back, I don't see it. But Bohm looks like she sucks on the feet. Like she just doesn't look good, regardless of the opponent. And Kim, she's not some stud. She's far from it, but she's got pretty good striking. She's gonna have that output. She's gonna bring it to Bohm. And I'd be pretty surprised if Bohm pulls this off. I just don't really see how. But
I'll tell you how if you're interested.
I am.
Kim has 3 wins in the UFC, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights.
Should be 4 though.
Yeah, whatever. But the main reason is her other 2. She's only got 1 finish against Nadia Kassem, the worst female fighter ever from Australia, and her other 2 wins are by split. So, she won those 2 splits, and then she lost the other split. So, I mean, is she going to win a proper unanimous decision? If she can't do it against Mandy Bohm, she won't do it against anyone. But she also didn't do it against Melinda Fabian. So I don't know. It's just too risky for me, man.
Do you have access to split decision props on your books?
I do now. Wait,
BetOnline doesn't.
Oh, well, I don't. Fuck it, I don't.
Yeah, neither do I. And I would. This would definitely be a fight that I would have done it on. But unfortunately, right now in New York, we can't.
Yeah, fair. No, it's just a pass for me, man. I don't. Did you notice how every time you bet a juicy line, the money comes in on the other fight? Like, there's a lot of money coming on Mandy Bohm, which fair enough,
I noticed, and it's different from the last time. I feel like the last time it was just building on Kim.
I still heard some people like laying the juice on Kim. I just don't know. I don't know where this big trust comes from. People are quick to forget, I guess. They're probably the same people that if they got cheated on, they would take their girlfriend back. So,
Jesus, Steve.
Not for me.
All right, let's move on then. Next up, we've got Natan Levy versus Pete Rodriguez. Levy 8-1-0. He's 31, 5'9" with the 72-inch reach. Syndicate MMA's where he's training. Rodriguez 5-1-0. He's going to be 5 years younger at 26. Same height, 1-inch reach advantage. Training out of MMA Lab. I'll start us off. I mean, the first time this was scheduled, I parlayed Levy, and I was like, screw it. And then it fell through, and taped it more, and then I taped it once the fight got moved, and I was like, all right, maybe it was a good thing it got canceled. I like Levy a lot. Fellow Jew. Love some representation. Most Jewish fighters suck for some reason. We're just not good at fighting in MMA. He's the best we've got so far, which is unfortunate. But I try to root for him. In terms of the fight, though, look, I hate his striking. I really don't like his striking. I think that he's relatively hittable once you close the distance. Like his chin is just up and like you can really rock him. I don't like what I saw in the Breeden fight, for example, on the feet. I thought that was a red flag. When he's not getting his takedowns, he's really not a great striker. And I mean, to be at the UFC level, not have a single knockout win, I mean, that kind of tells you something. And the more you look at it, the more I tape it, I really don't like what he does on the feet. In his last fight, he actually outstruck the guy at range. Most of the work was done at range. He got a bunch of takedowns. I think it was Genaro Valdez, but most of his strikes were at distance. He mixes up the strikes with the kicks. Steve, you're ridiculous. But honestly, like I remembered Pete Rodriguez being worse than I thought, and like watching him, even in the Jack Della fight, my guy was like putting together good combos, going to the body and stuff. I really like the work he does there. I really like the body work. I get the technical striking edge. I really do think goes to him. And if we're stuck on the feet, if Levy's not getting these shots, I think he's live. The problem is I have no evidence that Pete Rodriguez can stuff takedowns. I also don't have any evidence that he can't. No one shot on him in the tape I saw. There's one regional fight. I mean, one amateur fight. I believe he lost by rear naked or something. Couldn't find that one. Wish I could. But I haven't seen his takedown defense tested. That said, as a primary striker, I kind of have to think that Levy's going to have a grappling edge here. He is a really good grappler once he's down there. I really like his work. I didn't want to stake much on this at all. Definitely not going to parlay Levy. So I just played Levy round 2 sub plus 950. I played Levy round 3 sub plus 1600 through a 12th of a unit on each and called it a day. How about you, Steve?
That could be a good way to play it. Yeah, this is the first fight I taped last week before it got cancelled, which was a little bit annoying. But I didn't revisit it. I knew I wouldn't be taping about 4 or 5 fights this week. This was one of them. Ultimately, there's a few things that I might want to play. Ultimately, I felt like I wanted to fade Levy again, and the UFC has given him another opponent that he can potentially beat. So very frustrating. They're just giving him the bottom of the barrel. Mike Breeden, Genaro Valdez, and he's not covering his line in any of these fights, and he's just still winning because he might be at least barely UFC level, whereas these other guys aren't. And I just feel the same way again. I feel like Rodriguez is probably better than people think he is. Amazing boxing, amazing power, especially at lightweight now. And like you said, there's no footage. You have to go back to his amateurs, which I did. I always look at amateurs when there's nothing available in pro, and he's getting tossed around by a dude back in 2016. But 2016, man, the guy is 17 years old, man. So surely he's improved since then, right? Like that's a big difference, man. I improve every 6 months, right, in my little shitty jiu-jitsu career. And then, the guy that rear naked choked him, Terry Lyles, in 2019, that's a bit more recent. I think the guy's now 5-0 with all rear naked chokes. So, right, obviously a jiu-jitsu expert of some sort. But even that, 2019, that's 4 years ago. You're thinking the UFC now, taking his career more seriously, surely doing a little bit more jiu-jitsu classes. But the main thing is, whenever you stalk someone on Instagram and they don't have one gi photo on Instagram, it's a red flag. Like, there's a lot of training footage. There's just not one photo with a gi on, which is like, surely someone can catch him. Surely he poses. So who knows how much jiu-jitsu he does. He's a good wrestler, though. I've seen him go for takedowns. He's throwing people around. But yeah, it's just like, why don't they give me someone a little bit better to fade Levy with? And then I thought the under, condition is probably under 1.5, which is now plus money. And then I thought, this guy Levy seems pretty durable, even though he got cracked by Lugo. But then he also, had some bad situations with Breeden, and also got cracked by Valdez, and he also hurt Valdez to the body. It's just a volatile fight. I don't know which way to go. Ultimately, as the week is going on, I'm kind of warming up just taking a small dog shot on Pete Rodriguez, see what happens, and just live bet Breeden. But yeah, I mean, the way you've played it, I guess it's a good way. I guess if he gets out of round 1 and 2, pretty high chance that he might get a submission here. But yeah, just a low-level fight. Hate everything about it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't hate any shots on Rodriguez. I was pleasantly surprised with the striking when I ran the tape back. But let's move on to a funner fight. We've got Cody Stamann versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. Stamann 21-5-1. He's 33 years old. 5'6" with a 65-inch reach. I've got Extreme Couture for him. Andrade 28-5-0. He's going to be 4 years older at 37. 5'7", so 1 inch height advantage. Sorry if you guys hear the noise outside. And he's got a 4-inch reach advantage. And I don't have his camp on me, honestly. So, Steve, start us off.
The people's main event on this one, I've got people mouthing off back and forth. I've taken Stamann, I've taken de Andrade. Obviously, a bit of steam on Stamann now. I left, thinking that it's a dog or pass for me, especially at this current line. Stamann never really put stamps on fights. I mean, I just recently faded him against Lacerda, and I felt he was quite lucky to win that 29-28 unanimously on all judges' scorecards. I thought every single round was close, other than round 2 when he got a little bit comfortable and started throwing his hands. Round 3, he definitely lost. And round 1 was just close. And yeah, he never put stamps on fights, and he slows down in round 3. He's no submission danger whatsoever. It's not long ago that he was shut out for 3 rounds by Jimmy Rivera on his way out of the UFC. So, yeah, not dangerous. The best thing about him is his hands are quite good, and he's quite technical, and his distance management is always really good. So he's quite a clean striker, but he's going to be giving up all the moments, all the big shots here against de Andrade. And then, de Andrade kind of hard to trust when you can have a lot of low output time in the octagon, just waiting for the spinning back fist or the spinning wheel kick. But you watch his fights, man, Lerone Murphy, Morozov, Said Nagama, I'll call him just Said. Yeah, just a ton of moments. And these are guys that are potentially ranked, or they're gatekeepers for the ranking. I would give Lerone Murphy the ranking now over Cody Stamann. I know Cody Stamann's not ranked anymore. He was before he went on his streak. But yeah, just doing quite well against all these dudes. Just a hard guy to deal with. So yeah, I can see a low output fight where there's a lot of cage fighting, there's a lot of clinching. If Douglas Silva de Andrade comes out like he did against Lerone Murphy, or maybe like against Marlon Vera, where he just somehow had 3 rounds of constant body shots and output, he absolutely kicked the crap out of Vera, then he's going to look massive value here. But even if it's just a bit of a staring match, I think it's going to be close. I think he's going to get up if Stamann goes for takedowns. He might go for his own takedowns. He was clinching up with Saeed. He's a very physical specimen. So, yeah, dog or pass for me. I don't know if I can pull the trigger. I'm just looking at over-unders now for the first time. It's just a card that I haven't really looked much into detail just because it's horrendous. But yeah, oh man, the overs are completely juicy. I wouldn't play anything there. But yeah, dog or pass for me. I don't understand how people can trust Stamann. Probably the same people that are trusting Kim. So yeah, pass for me.
Hey, I'm trusting Kim. I'm not trusting Stamann. So again, this was one of those times where what was it? What's up, Steve?
I was just gonna say, I mean, women's MMA are always a lot more trustworthy, I guess.
for me, like, I mean, I had to turn off the whole Twitter echo chamber again because I was late to break down this card. Most people, if you watch my stuff, I've been dealing with fucking finals and shit. But now I'm catching up, and I had to turn all that off because I was like, off memory, it didn't seem to me like he should be such a favorite or such a popular play. And I ran the tape, and yeah, I liked the striking in the Lacerda fight. But if I'm not wrong, did he like not land a single takedown in that one, Steve?
No, but that's because he was a submission threat, which is good game plan. I wouldn't be going for takedowns against Lacerda anyway.
He did shoot twice, though. I just double checked. But either way, you kind of mentioned it with the Rivera fight, right? Like, when do we see Stamann struggle? When he's not getting those takedowns, when he can't get those takedowns. Jimmy Rivera stuffing him. Merab, I mean, that's a different level. But again, same story. Andrade, I believe he's got, what is it, a 69% takedown defense? Yeah, he does. I think he's going to have way bigger power. In terms of, like, just technique in the striking, I guess I'll give it to Stamann, but I think it's close. I really think it's close. My problem with Andrade is his output. I don't love the output. He's looking to counter a lot. I mean, the guy's built like a brick shit house, but I like violence, and I like him inside the distance. That's what I ended up doing because I do think at some point he's going to catch Cody. I think he's going to crack that chin, and I think personally, I think he's going to grab a sub. I know that he's only got 2 submission wins, one of them against Morozov, exactly what I just said, a club and sub. But if you watching his fights, me personally, I see him like going for the back a lot. It's not just the thing that he did in the Morozov fight. It's something that he looks for. If I'm not mistaken, Steve, I think he did it in the Murphy fight too. So yeah. I played his sub. Get this. I got his sub prop at plus 1,800 on Bet Online. That line is gone now. Best you can get is plus 1,000 on Caesars, I think. I put 0.2 units on that. I think that's very live, especially if he hurts Cody, especially if, maybe Cody goes for those takedowns. A guillotine's live. Maybe he scrambles. And on the feet, I think he can hurt him too. So I took the under as well. I took not the under. I took the fight doesn't go at plus 155 for a half unit. And then I played Andrade inside the distance at plus 210 for another half unit. And that's how I'm approaching the fight. I think it's going to be hard for Stamann here to be perfect the whole fight, to just survive everything from Andrade. Like, the more I watch it, the more I think Andrade is going to find that finish. So that's the way I approach this fight.
Yeah, I can't fault it. You're right about Murphy. That was an elite back take, man. Super high level back take on Murphy. But I find it hard to see him subbing Cody. But I mean, it's possible. Like the
plus 1,800 though.
Yeah, the line that you have is fine. I don't really hate it or anything. I guess he has been submitted by Sterling and the other dude, but yeah. I feel like it's going to go to decision more often than not. Just Stamann is too risk adverse, right? He will rather lose a decision than put himself in danger. So
yeah, but I feel like Andrade isn't going to give him that choice. He's the type of guy that's going to be like, fuck that, and just come for the finish or to die. Also, yeah, Big Steve, Lou has the invite for the Big Brain podcast. Where's my invite, bro? You've been on my show like 7 times.
Are you retarded? You have like the link on Twitter.
Do
ages ago, and then you just ignored it. You never. ages ago. I'll make me pull it up, dude. You probably just forgot.
Hit me up, bro. I'm always down. But let's move on. Next up, we've got Karl Williams versus Chase Sherman. Williams 8-1-0. He's 33 years old, 6'3" with the 79-inch reach. I've got ATT Atlanta for him. Sherman 16-11-0. He's also 33. Dude, I feel like every card has 33-year-olds and multiple of them. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But 6'4", 78-inch reach, 1-inch reach disadvantage, 1 inch taller. And I believe he's at Sanford MMA, Killcliff. I'll start us off. So for me, once I saw like this line, I just hit it. I did Sherman, decision, no action, plus 425 on DraftKings. Put 0.8 units to win like 3.5 or something like that. Look, the way I see it is the most likely outcome here is Williams by decision, out grappling Sherman for 3 rounds, just like he does. And in that case, I'm going to get my money back. But if the fight ends inside the distance, if you tell me 100% certainty there is that the fight's going to end inside the distance, I'm going to assume it was Sherman knocking him out because Karl Williams does nothing from on top. Just look at the numbers in both of his Dana White Contender Series fight and the UFC fight. On top, ground and pound. Look at what he's throwing. He's throwing nothing. Like 20 strikes with 10 minutes of ground control against Brzeski. He's not finishing a ham sandwich. I've been saying this all week. Chase Sherman, I understand he's been finished on the ground, but one of them was Romanov. The other one was Jake Collier, which, okay. But where do you see Williams chasing these subs? He's not doing it. So for me personally, I think that's the best way to approach this. I think that on the feet, especially as we extend the fight, Sherman is going to be very live for a knockout. He does have output. He does have good striking. He does have power. And Williams, how many times now have we seen him put his damn hands on his knees? Why would you ever want to parlay a minus 400 heavyweight who in round 2 has his hands on his knees? Doesn't make, and I'm the idiot who parlays all kinds of things. And I'm saying don't parlay this guy. So I think anybody parlaying him should really reassess. Should he win? Probably. I think it's going to be a decision. And that's why I really like my prop, because I think that Chase Sherman in round 2 and 3, super live to knock him out if he's tired. And if not, I'm going to get my money back. So what do you think, Steve?
Yeah, this is another Kim Bohm fight for me. Yeah, like you said, that he doesn't do much on top, but he's got power in his hands. When I broke it down, him against Brzeski, him by decision was a popular play, and I just said I can't do it because he actually has power, and he just never chooses to stand up and use it. And then he ended up cracking Brzeski and almost knocked him out. So if he's going to knock out anyone on the feet, it will be someone with suboptimal head movement like Chase Sherman. All you got to do is watch 30 seconds of Chase Sherman's fights, and the guy's just getting lit up by everyone. You know, grapplers, just no head movement. So yeah, it's just I played the juice over 1.5, and Sherman's going to flake on me. I play the decision. Someone's going to finish. I play the under. It's going to go to decision. So it's a fight that I'm just – and I actually think Sherman is better than Brzeski, believe it or not. So I think I'm just going to leave it and live bet. And, if Sherman makes it to round 2 and Williams is a little bit gassy, like in the Brzeski fight, there could be a KO. He does hit hard. Sherman does hit hard. So, yeah. I was actually more confident on this fight originally because I think Williams was taking that original fight like two weeks later. He's had plenty of time to prepare and man, I don't think Sherman's there mentally. How many times has he pulled out on the day of the fight? He pulled out against Romanov the first time. He's pulled out against Karl Williams. Like he makes it to the fight, does the weigh-ins, and just pulls out. It's like those are red flags. I don't know why he keeps doing that. But yeah, hate the fight pass.
I don't know why he pulled out of the Williams fight, but hey, I would have pulled out of the Romanov fight too.
But that makes no sense. He still accepted it again in the rematch. So.
He had to. Remember he got cut. That was when they took him back. They were like, Chase, you're either gonna die in this fight or you're not fighting here. So he said, screw it. But we can move on. And for this next one, we've got Matt Brown versus Court McGee. Brown, he's 23, 19-0, 42 years old, 6 feet tall at the 76-inch reach, training out of his own camp. McGee, 21, 11-0, he's 38. He's going to be 1 inch shorter, going to have a 1 inch reach disadvantage. And let me double check. I've got I don't know if I'm saying this right. Age Maju Jiu-Jitsu is what I pulled from his Instagram. But start us off, Steve.
Yep. I don't really like anything here other than I mean, it's a dogger pass. I get that Court McGee has advantages, like the better cardio and I guess being less washed, but it's hard to gauge. I mean, Matt Brown still has power, and he's just had a competitive fight with Barberena, which I don't think Barberena is that washed. We've seen him against a really washed Robbie Lawler, and he showed to be the more fresher guy. But yeah, I was taping, and the only thing that stuck out to me was the under, really. And I just, I looked into that. And ultimately, the thing that really stuck out to me that I didn't think it would until I taped was Court McGee's attempted some really deep arm triangle chokes on Claudio Silva. And, that looked very tight. Obviously, Claudio Silva, 3rd degree black belt, number 33 represent. And then and then he had a really, really deep arm triangle choke on Ramiz Brahimaj in round 3 as well. So I was thinking maybe caught by submission. I don't know what the line is. I was hoping you could tell me. But then it's just like the only problem is, you look at Matt Brown's career. Ultimately, he did get submitted a lot in his early career, but then when he had that little resurgence,
plus 700,
not bad, could be better. When he had that resurgence, and ended up being a ranked fighter, his jiu-jitsu actually improved a lot. He almost made it to a whole decision with Amy and Maya. Got submitted with 30 seconds to go, so he doesn't get submitted anymore. He's more so getting knocked out. There's the chin and weak to the body. So yeah, if I were playing anything, is the under here. I think he's very gassy. He's got the power early. McGee can be knocked out. He's been knocked out in round 1 twice, even though he is durable. And then later on, maybe McGee can break him down, go for that arm triangle choke. Maybe rounds 2, 3 submission. But yeah, it's a little bit better price than some of the other unders. There's a bunch of unders for washed fights, like the Morono later on we'll speak about. And this one is paying a bit better, and I think there's a higher chance it hits. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe Court McGee's sub for a long shot, and maybe the under. But otherwise, I would just wait to see how round 1 goes. Court McGee doesn't put stamps on fights, and then just maybe live bet Court McGee or live bet any of these guys. Who knows? It's just crapshoot.
Steve, I don't know what this means, but your arse flapping cracked me up. I don't know what this means though.
It's just a UK term.
And then, Prince of Mischief at this point. Hold up. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. It's been 8 months. Or 7 months. Yeah. I don't have an excuse. I still need to get a headboard.
What's a headboard? I don't get it.
The thing that goes on the back of your bed, so your pillows and shit doesn't fall off. Do you not have those?
Oh, I do, but yeah, it's just comes with the couch, with the bed. I wouldn't need it really.
You'd be surprised, dude. My pillows be falling off.
Yeah, well,
but all right, let's move on. Also, this comment had me crying. But next up, we've got. Oh wait, no, I didn't even talk about the fight. So I have Court McGee. Only thing I did when he was like minus 184, I did a half unit parlay with Ulberg before he was like minus 400. And I did a half unit parlay with my guy, Jailton Almeida. That's all I'm going to do. I wish I got that underdog price. I've been a little bit too busy, like I told you guys. But overall, for me, I do think it's going to be relatively close. That's why I really kept it small. I do think that Court McGee should win and will win more often than not. But I think he's the better striker. At least now, I think he's the better striker. He's a little more clean, a little more safe, a little more tight. And I think if anyone's going to have a grappling edge, if anyone needs to wrestle, wants to wrestle, I think it's going to be Court McGee who's doing it. I think that, first of all, I think I cursed the poor guy, man. The first time I ever met a UFC fighter was Court McGee. I was on my way to Cater and what's his name? Calvin Cater and Josh Emmett over in Texas. I flew over to Texas. Me and my girlfriend went there. We're in the airport. We're walking, and I see a dude with a UFC backpack, and I like tapped the shoulder. I was like, "You going to the fights?" And he's like, "Yeah, my buddy over there is a fighter." But I misheard him, so I only heard "yeah." He's like, "How about you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, me too." And he's like, are you fighting on the card? I was like, nah. And then he goes, yo, Court. And Court McGee just turns around, pulls up, says what's good to me. I dap him up. I already had a money line bet. I added more to it afterwards, and he gets knocked right out cold by Jeremiah Wells. So that was my fault, I think. I think I cursed him. But now I'm not going to see him in the airport, and I think he's going to be okay. I just think he's the better guy. I think I like his striking more. I like his wrestling more. I think he's got more ways to win this. I personally don't really see a finish, but maybe if it comes from the Matt Brown side, I really like the elbows in the clinch. I mean, that's his thing. But overall, just those two little parlays for a total of 1 unit stake, and I'm not going to do much more. I did use the alternate total though. The over, what was it? Over 1.5. I parlayed that with Jailton ITD also. And that's it.
Nice.
We can move on. All right. This next fight, we've got Tim Means versus Alex Morono. Means 32, 14-1. He's 39 now. 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. I don't have his camp. Morono, 22, 8-0. He's going to be 7 years younger at 32. He's going to be 3 inches shorter, and giving up 3 inches in reach as well. I'll start us off here. I mean, I was super tempted on Tim Means when I saw plus 200, but for me, this is a really good pass fight, I think. This is a fight I want nothing to do with. I think that Tim Means could be live. He is still pretty decent at this point in his career, in my opinion. I think that his striking is still there. I think that his wrestling is a pretty good way to win. I just don't think it's going to be the thing that wins this fight against Morono. He can mix it in. I don't know. If you forced me to bet a money line, it would be him. But like I don't want to parlay or play Morono at minus 200 or 220, whatever it is. He's got great output. He's a good striker, but I don't rate him too highly. For the people talking about Morono's sub, I put a whole ass post on my Twitter yesterday. So if you want to see it in detail, go ahead. But essentially the point of the post was I wasn't trying to say bet one way or another. I wasn't trying to say don't bet Morono sub. But what I deducted from what I put up is that you probably shouldn't bet the Morono sub here. Everybody Morono has submitted, none of them have been in the UFC. This is all outside of the UFC. And every single one of them has been submitted at least 4 times. Most of them now have current losing records. So he has not submitted anybody good. The good thing, if you're on that prop, is 2 of 6 subs for him are by guillotine. 3 of 6 sub losses for Means are by guillotine. So if it's going to happen, it's probably that way. But then Tim Means, I also put it, same Twitter post. The guys he's getting submitted by mostly are in the UFC level. And the people that aren't had decent records while their careers were active. So again, I'm not advocating for or against. I just personally think the sub prop at plus 750, as enticing as that might sound, I don't think it's a good bet. I think it should be wider if you're going to take it personally. So I think the winner is going to be Alex Morono. I think it's going to be a decision. I think he's going to win just via output. If he gets taken down, he'll get back up, I think. I think overall he'll be able to stay on the feet. And I think he's going to outwork Tim Means and just get the decision. But again, pass for me. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, just a massive roundabout way of saying you don't like the sub. Yeah, look, I agree with a lot of the stuff. I don't think there's any value in Tim Means, even though it might keep it competitive. It's Morono. I think Morono's in his prime. Tim Means is just too hittable. If you look at Morono, like he's got a way of soundly outstriking like more technical, cleaner boxers than him. Right? He's done it over and over again. He's fighting against Matt Semmelsberger, and I'm just thinking, Morono at minus money. Semmelsberger's going to land the 1-2 and put him out, and just Semi's hitting air all night, and just Morono is just dancing around him. Same as Mickey Gal, same as Ponzinibbio until he got sparked, but he got really, really tired in the end, and he was fat there. He took that on short notice off the couch. He's got an awkward style, but he's going to light people up. He's in his prime. He's 32, and Means just ultimately just too plotting, no defense, high guard, and just comes into the pocket. There has no head movement. So, yeah, he's going to be there for Alex Morono just to crack him, just to light him up. Morono drops a lot of people. Dropped Mickey Gal, dropped Cerrone, been dropped by Pettis. Couldn't drop McGee. McGee, just because McGee, insane durability. Almost knocked out Max Griffin. He did submit Josh Berkman, mate. That was in the UFC. You said he hasn't submitted anyone in the UFC.
That wasn't in the UFC, no?
Yeah, it was. It was Fight Night 126.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so the whole thing was done. It was wrong. You just did it for nothing. You have to start again. And then he also he dropped Zach Otto and went for a guillotine as well. And 2 fights later, and he used that guillotine to sweep, and then he finished him with ground and pound. So he's attempted. That could have been 2 guillotines in 3 fights. Obviously, 2 bum dudes, but Tim Means at 39 years of age. This guy, right, loves getting subbed, clubbing subbed, right. The only guy he gave D-Rod's only sub in the UFC, clubbing subbed again. He just loves it. Matt Brown subbed him with a guillotine. Like he just screams if there's going to be a finish here. I don't think either guy hits hard enough to finish the other dude. Even when he cracked Cerrone, he took like so many overhands against the cage. And, I think Mark Goddard kind of saved Cerrone there. He still couldn't knock him down. He couldn't even drop him. If anything, he's probably going to light up Means. He's going to drop Means. Means might drop him with a 1-2, but they're both going to recover. I feel like it's going to be a very, very tilting experience if you played the under. It's just going to be a bunch of like drops and get-ups and recoveries. And, Means – and the other thing is Means is going to wrestle. So if he gets dropped, if he gets cracked, just like he did against Holland, he's going to dive in and, dived in straight into the DAS. So same as D-Rod, got cracked, dive into the guillotine. Hopefully he gets cracked, dives into the Alex Morono guillotine. But, I wouldn't, roundabout way of me saying I'm passing, I wouldn't play the under just because there was not enough juice on the bone. And it's got steamed even more now. And I wouldn't play Means just because I think this is one of those fights where Morono just does his little dance for 3 rounds and just, busts up Means, maybe drops him with an overhand. Maybe a 29-28. Morono loves to get dropped. But yeah, pass on the money line, pass on the under. If anything, I would just sprinkle that Morono sub because I think if he does crack him, I don't think he will finish him. I think he would probably get a sub. So yeah.
You just gave me a thought, so I'm pulling up Bet Online. You have a Bet Online account now, so do you know about the spreads?
The minus, the handicap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
I want to see what Tim Means is.
No, I'm not feeling it. Just he's too old.
Yeah, but to win a round?
Well, he got a split against Max Griffin, but that was 100%.
You need 1 round.
That was a 30-27.
Nah, minus 135. Nah. If it was plus money, that would be interesting.
No, that's horrible.
You're pretty much just betting for him to win 1 round, which is a good bet with the right odds, but I don't like that. The other thing I wanted to bring up is what do you think about Morono sub round 2 plus 2,500 and round 3 plus 3,500? Do you think it's going to happen in round 1 if it does?
It's possible. His only submission was in round 1, and the one against Zach Otto was almost in round 1. So, and he dropped Nicky Gall in round 1. He knocked out Cerrone in round 1. He also slows down too. So who knows when it's going to happen? Who knows when it's going to happen? Really, sub alone is paying quite a decent fee. So
plus 750. I don't know. But all right,
I've seen it better odds on my Aussie bookies, but yeah, I'm not rushing to play it. It's just if it's kind of like if I'm leaning the under and it's not juiced enough, then what's the most likely under correlation? Probably Morono sub. So that's how I'm looking at it.
If you can get it like plus 9 or 1,000, 900 or 1,000, that would be pretty good, I think.
Yeah, and it would just be like $100 for me. I've been losing too many sprinkles, so I'm trying to be careful with it.
Dude, after I did my 2022 year review, I looked on BetMMA and you can actually see your percentages for the round props. And at the time for my round and method props, I was down 30 units or something. So I was like, all right, time to rein it in and keep only the ones I really like. I've got that number down to minus 20 units now. So done some good work with those round props, but try to keep it to only where I really think I got it. So I don't know about this one, but we can move on. Next fight up. All right. We got Carlos Ulberg versus Ihor Potieria. Ulberg 7-1-0. He's 32 years old, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. We know he's out of city kickboxing over with Israel Adesanya. Ihor 19-3-0. He's going to be 6 years younger at 26. He's going to be 1 inch shorter, have a 2-inch reach disadvantage. I'm actually unsure where he trains of. I think it's an American camp. I'm going to check it while Steve is talking. But what do you think for this fight, Steve?
Yeah, this is in everyone's parlays. Obviously, Ulberg. He's in my parlay too, but it's not a parlay I'm proud about, and probably doesn't even hit. It's just when I got my new shiny Bet Online account, I'm trying to turn over my original deposit, which I have now, and I put like a bunch of rubbish. I got like a Ryzen leg, and I forced the Chaos Williams bet, even though I didn't like him at that. So that should have been dead last week. So I've got Ulberg in there, and I've got the co-main event under 1.5, which I'm not confident about at all. It was just kind of like a forced parlay before Ryzen started, because that Victor Kolesnik dude was my most confident. He was at -200, and he just knocked out the Asian dude like pretty easily. But yeah, upon retape, I wouldn't be putting him in any other parlays. It's just, yeah, I get it. He's sparked a lot better people than Potieria recently. After just a little bit of a rough start with Kennedy and not really being that impressive against Sharan. Got dropped there by Sharan and got cracked first, and then got dropped in the same round. So it wasn't really hurt. But the big difference here is between those opponents and this one is the speed, right? So obviously Tafon and Nigomarianu like just absolutely stuck in the mud. And if anything with Ulberg, man, I can't get over how fast and explosive that guy is. It just blows my mind. He's like 6'5". Obviously got those Polynesian genetics. But yeah, just super, super explosive. But yeah, I mean, Potieria is a bit of a bum, but at least he's fast. He will throw. He's not as slow as Nikolai. He was lighting up Nikolai and the guy on the contender series as well. He's got like long reach and he throws. It's just, the cardio and defense and his own defense on the other side and the lack of takedown defense. Obviously, he's not UFC ready. He's got a lot of disadvantages. He seems to have a good chin. He got cracked by Shogun and didn't really react. So
yeah, but Shogun's ancient.
Yeah, but he's still got power. Power doesn't go. So that's the thing. It's like, I get it. It seems like a setup match, but it's still a striking fight where it can be volatile. And I've already seen, Ulberg give me some red flags against another fast guy in Sharan. Maybe if Sharan actually bit down and threw for rounds 2 and 3, maybe he would have dropped him again multiple times. And then the other play I have, which I locked in on Bet Online, I can finally get props not 2 days before the event starts. And I played the under 1.5 at plus money blindly. I'm like, oh, plus money, that's crazy. And, upon retape, it's like, he doesn't really chase the finish. And I think it's all going to be dependent on Potieria. If Potieria is scared and he comes out like Sharan, like I'm sure he knows this is a setup fight, and he goes, I don't want to be knocked out in front of the whole world. He might just make this go over 1.5 because Ulberg's got two ways the fights go. It's the round 1 knockout, and it's the Sharan fight. He's fought like that on the regionals too. He's happy just to kick on the outside. He doesn't need a round 1 KO. Other than Kennedy, he really wanted to make a statement there and pay for it. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I'm going to let it ride. Obviously, you can't cash out on Bet Online, and it's plus money, right? It could still be a round 1 KO for Ulberg. I think this Potieria can be stupid enough and come in and get himself caught. Even though he's got a good chin, man, I just seen Ulberg stiffen up Nikolai Nigomarianu, man. So this guy can knock out anyone, really. So yeah, I got the under only half a unit, and I just got a stupid parlay, which probably going to lose with the under 1.5 in the Walker fight, which I wouldn't advise anyone parlaying him. If anything, maybe play some. If anything, I would still play the under 1.5 at minus juice, because that's like it covers Potieria doing something stupid and cracking Ulberg, because it's still a volatile striking fight.
Yeah, in terms of the over-under, I know. I think MMA Propaholic. I do my prop show with them every week. He took the over, and at first I was giving him shit, but honestly, like you kind of said, like it could make a lot of sense here. And the guy does not play overs. I'll say that he doesn't play overs. He hates them, and if he plays an over, I usually at least pop an ear, listen. For me personally, I didn't want to play totals. For me personally, this is pretty straightforward. Look, Ihor Potieria is a Ukrainian. I'm a Ukrainian. Love the guy. Was super happy that he knocked out Shogun. I think everybody's still complaining about that dance as a giant pussy. I said that to somebody today, and he totally freaked out. It was hilarious. But look, if you're still whining that a legend that you love so much got knocked out and then the guy danced, I'm sorry. You got to go touch some grass and think about life and what you got going on. But all that said, my Ukrainian brother, I think he's going to die. I think he's going to get knocked out clean. I think that Ulberg is just a different level of striker. I think that, like you mentioned, he did get rocked by Shogun, and sure, maybe Shogun still has power, but the fact that he was able to find that shot so early to hurt him, to me, is a problem. I think Ihor Potieria is going to get lit up on the feet. His own striking is decent. He's not a horrible striker. Like, I don't think it's impossible for him to have success. I just don't think it's likely here. And the people who are telling me that he might grapple, I mean, when did he do it? Back against people who are not good at all. Like, I've tried to look into it. The people he's grappling are not high-level fighters. Ulberg, that 100% takedown defense, like, throw it out the window. It's one takedown attempt from Kennedy Nchukwu. But from what I've seen, I think he does have good takedown defense. And against a guy like Potieria, who I don't think is primarily a wrestler, I think he'll be fine. They can keep it on the feet. I have 3 units on the KO. I got it earlier at minus 150. Now I'm seeing it at like crazy prices. I don't think you should go too nuts there. I think the KO is highly likely. I do have him parlayed a little bit. My total, but that's just a half unit parlay. So my total stake right now on him is 3.5 units. Look, because of how confident I am, I want to parlay him and parlay him and parlay him. But I'm trying to hold back because if Ihor does pull up and gets the job done, it's going to suck. I'll still be happy because my guy Ihor won, but I'm going to lose a lot of money. So I might just keep it here. I do think if Ulberg wins, the most likely outcome is that he knocked him out. So that's what I'm doing here.
Fair enough. You gotta give me the mic here before we move on.
Hit it.
I just have to say, I think it's even though I love you, it's a little bit funny how you're calling people bitches for complaining about Elo's dance over Shogun, but you wouldn't stop whinging about Tanner Burns' comments about Elo, which I thought were absolutely hilarious. Every 2 days I had to watch you bitch about the Twitter, and every time you posted, I cracked up. I was laughing. I'm like, that's just the funniest line ever. Like, and then it's just like bitch after bitch. I hope you knock him out.
I posted 2 times, and people are like, "Oh, you're betting with your heart. You're betting with your heart."
3 times. I've seen it 3 times. It's
What
actually
did my guy Kudalaba do? He did the job. He did the job. Took care of a fucking loudmouth piece of shit. Got it done.
I can see you're still emotional about it. That's fair enough.
Steve, I just get off my show. Get off my show.
I have to call you out, bro. It's very ironic. Very ironic and very what's the word for it? I don't want to be too rude to you. Yeah, the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You're complaining about the exact same thing. If I seen it one more time,
same thing.
If I seen it one more time, I would have laughed again because every time I see you, I laugh, and then I would have blocked you. I was like, this guy, shut the fuck up.
Shut up. You wouldn't.
That funny joke.
You wouldn't know what to do without me. You'd be lost.
In what way? Like living my life or not watching your videos? Or I don't understand.
Dude, you miss me too much, Steve.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny to watch your plays and stuff. By the way, another thing I want to say, yeah, don't put Ulberg in all your parlays because you got away with chaos last week, and the gambling gods are angry now, so they're waiting for you to do the same thing. And if you do it with Ulberg, they're gonna smite you down.
Dude, I was there live. Look, I'll admit that Bedoya very well could have won that fight. I'm not gonna say should have because I'm super biased, but yo, when me and my brother heard 30-27 Bedoya, we just started dying laughing because that is not a scorecard that is realistic. It was just mad funny. I was there live. It was a good time. But yeah, dude, my butt was clenched. Terrible bet on chaos. Once again, these shootbox guys, these guys that we don't know, training out of Brazil, who everybody underestimates, pull up time and time and time and time again now. And I think it's time we started to take notice because I very much underrated Bedoya. I thought he was a dead man walking, and he arguably won. So.
You can't fade scrappy dudes. I wrote on someone made a Twitter saying he's crap, and I wrote he's pretty scrappy, man. Like if he's durable, it's gonna give Chaos a fight. And then he made fun of me for saying scrappy, and he changed it to crappy, and then he parlayed Chaos and got away with it. And I was like, oh man, yes, come on.
By the skin of our teeth. that would have turned my whole night upside down. I still would have been profitable, but it would have been as nice as it was. Dude, I'll just say I'm going to gloat about that Frivola hit for so long because the amount of shit I got. I do YouTube shorts now, and I did a short for that one, and that's the only time any video of mine has crossed 1,000 views. And the amount of people I got telling me experience is going to get him, Dober's going to crack him, blah, 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 blah. It felt so fucking good to cash that ticket. Sure, say early stoppage. I was screaming the same thing with Arosa 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Nice hit. I was hyped about that hit. Plus 210, baby. 2 units.
Nice, bro. Pat yourself on the back.
It's my show, dude. That's the point. But let's move on to the next one. This is a good one. We got D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez versus Ian Machado. Garry Rodriguez, 17-3-0. He's 36 now, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. We got Syndicate for him. Garry, 11-0, undefeated. 25. He's going to be 11 years younger. He's going to be 2 inches taller. Same reach. Sanford MMA for my guy. Steve, start us off.
Yeah, I reluctantly taped this because, I'm hearing people talk about how they thought they were going to play D-Rod, and then, upon tape, he's just nothing to really like. And D-Rod's been a money train for me. So I just taped it just to see, when people talk about a fight, I have to look into it. Otherwise, it will bother me. It was like the Burns Bilal last week. And I kind of felt the same way. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Garry never really impressive and somehow still gets 30-27s because he's just slightly cleaner and doesn't really get, I was about to say doesn't really get hit often where he does. But then it's like, and you watch that, Jing Liang Li fight where he kind of got away with a robbery there. And the Neil Magny, he won round 2 cleanly, and then he dropped him in round 3. So, and then it just kind of brought memories back for me playing this guy. I've been playing this guy almost in every single fight in his UFC career. Green, Dwight Grant, Tim Means, Mike Perry. I mean, I think I played him in Derby too, which that was a juicy parlay, which I still think he got robbed there. Preston Parsons, Kevin Lee. I played this guy everywhere, dude. It's just, he's got everything you want, right? And then I was like, yeah, I agree with the Twitter echo chamber this week. It's a pass. I don't want to force it. Garry can probably be a little bit faster. And then I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, D-Rod, he's also got good volume. He's got a good jab, right? He's got power. He's got insane durability, right? First time he was finished was actually a submission by Magny, who just kind of broke him with all the grappling. And then he's like, he's getting 30-27s, but he's always having some sort of adversity. I'm surprised that Gabe Green didn't at least get 1 round with the constant pressure, and he looked a bit uncomfortable on the back foot. And then it's just like, now he's fighting D-Rod, who I'm pretty sure is still ranked. He might be holding on to that 15th spot barely. And he's just like, now he's fighting D-Rod. He's got the volume himself. He's got the cardio. He's going to throw. He's going to constantly jab. He's going to throw. How is Garry going to cover this? Is he going to 30-27 D-Rod? Like, I know he did it to Gabe Green and Darian Weeks and finished the other 2 bums, but it's like, I get it. He's at a speed disadvantage. He's probably going to be getting hit. But at the end of the day, how is he going to cover this line? Is he that good that he's going to 30-27 Daniel D-Rod, right? And then I just said, look, I'm just going to play the number, even though more often than not, Garry gets the win here. I might just play the number, right? And then I thought about the spread that you mentioned, the minus 3.5, because then only D-Rod is just 1 round, but unanimously he can't. And then I thought, all the 30-27s he gets, it could still be a loss. It could still be a very, very competitive, close fight, and D-Rod gets robbed, and it's just like 30-27 for Garry every single way. But I don't know, man. He's got 1 clubbing left hand in him that's going to crack Garry. He's got at least 1, even though he's slow. When he was losing to Dalby, he just started throwing that thing, and he was actually wobbling Dalby all over the place. That's why I think he got robbed. He was getting out volume, but he was doing the damage. So, yeah, it's just an insane line. I could be wrong. Sometimes the Twitter is right, and I feel like this is the one time they could be right. This could be the one time that Garry does look like, a bit better than D-Rod. But I don't know, man. This is not an easy fight. Like, he's not going to back up like Song Kanan and just give up. He's not just going to retreat into his shell and let Garry just jab him and calf kick him, right? He's going to be in Garry's face. So, yeah, massive dogger pass for me, but I'm just waiting, man. This line is just going and just getting crazier and crazier. So, yep, see where it goes.
Yeah, I honestly I lean towards D-Rod also here. I've tried to fade Garry. I've backed Garry. I backed him very much so in his last fight, and he almost gave me a heart attack. The guy's not perfect. He's a stud, and I think his career is going to be fantastic, and he's going to be really good. Do I think he's going to be undefeated forever? No, I don't think he's going to be undefeated forever. I think that D-Rod is a tough test here. It's a very similar test to Gabe Green. You're going to see pressure. You're going to see boxing up close. You're going to see Ian Garry landing the shots from the outside, trying to skirt away. But like you hit the nail on the head, how does he cover minus 305? If you're going to bet like a minus 305 or higher, right? Like when I did with Chaos Williams, you got to think that they're going to either knock them out, finish them on the ground, or completely dominate from pillar to post where there's no question at all. And just watching the tape, for me, it's hard to see that happening. I think the spread that you mentioned, I actually pulled it up right before you said it, and I was looking at it. It's plus 110. That's a little tempting to me. And the money line of plus 255, I think it is now on Bet Online, is tempting to me. I think more likely than not, Ian Garry does win, outpoints him, gets that decision. But D-Rod is a tough opponent. I think it's the hardest one he's faced so far. We've seen Ian Garry have problems not once, but twice against opponents who aren't very good. Jordan Williams, I was there. He landed some good shots on my guy, and if I'm not wrong, he hurt him. Jordan Williams, we know where he's at now. He's gone. And then again, in this last Kanan Song fight, you can call it a fluke all you want, but it made sense. Watching the sequence, it made sense that that counter knocked him down clean, because the way he overextends sometimes going for his strikes, you can counter the guy. And who's going to be really good at countering? It's going to be D-Rod. So if he's using pressure, if he's countering all these shots where he overextends, I think he's very live. I don't think we've seen Ian Garry grapple even once in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think
I
he
know.
took Green down for a bit.
Yeah, and before that, it was just back in Cage Warriors, right? I know I saw a bunch of grappling from him there. Maybe he could use that. We saw Neil Magny find a ton of success with grappling. It's just not something we've seen from Ian Garry. So originally I was like, yo, let's just parlay Ian Garry. He's the truth. He's been looking so good. And then I ran the tape. I thought about it. I'm either going to completely pass or I'll play either. I'm thinking maybe like a half unit on the spread and a half unit on the money line. Maybe something like that. We'll see. I might just pass altogether. Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter. It's where I post my bets. Bet MMA, I'm on there as well. But for now, I'm gonna pass. But my lean, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Like my lean, I guess, is Ian Garry, but my pick is dog or pass. I'll say that.
Cool.
And we can move on unless you got some comments, Steve.
I don't know what to say to that last sentence. It's just dog or pass. That's your lean. Yeah, I mean, I have to play it, knowing who D-Rod is. Even if he looks bad, he's looking bad against Jing like Leach. There's a chance the Leach would absolutely spark Garry, right? And the reason, of course, there's a chance. Why? Because if he's so hittable, like why isn't there a chance that the Leach sparks him one of the times that he hits him? Because I mean, he's a ranked fighter, and Garry isn't. Like, I'd like to see him beat someone good before I start clamoring on how good he is. But yeah, D-Rod got cracked there, and that's why he was very hesitant against the Leach. You know, the Leach cracks hard, man, to make D-Rod scared to throw.
I mean, he knocked out what's his face, who never got knocked out, the Russian dude.
Yeah, Salikov. You can knock out the Leach can knock out anyone, man. But even that was a close fight. So let's say Garry's styling on him, like it's going to be a close fight. He's just going to be jabbing and calf kicking, and he's a southpaw as well. So he has to land the inside leg kick on D-Rod, and D-Rod can switch stances too. So
you know what I'm looking at right now? What Rodriguez decision no action is plus 190. What do you think?
I don't know. I wouldn't really touch it. I mean,
not good enough, right?
He can crack, man. I don't want to.
I mean, like, do you think Gary's gonna knock him out?
Probably not. But anything is possible. Who knows?
That's why I'm asking. But What's Rodriguez KO straight? Plus 800 I'm seeing on some books.
I would rather just play the over. The over is actually better than minus 200, which is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to probably do that spread. I think I like the spread. But we can move on. You're going to have to take the lead here because finals, I haven't been able to tape this one too much. So we've got Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. Smith, 36, 17 and 0. He's 34 years old, 6 foot 4 inches tall, with the 76-inch reach. Factory X Muay Thai is what I've got for him here. Walker on the other side, 27 and 0. He's 31 years old, 6'6". He's 2 inches taller. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage at 82-inch reach. And I've got SBG Ireland here. So, Steve, start us off, brother.
There's not much to say. It's a pick 'em fight. I feel like it's accurate. I would rather play Johnny Walker because I think Johnny Walker still has a bit of fire in him. And if he's going to fight like, usually like his new calm self, I think he's got a good fight on his hands. Smith, just very wide stance. He's got a nice jab. He gets leg kicked a lot. And he said he was going to leg kick him. Walker said he was going to leg kick him a lot. So I thought my under is in jeopardy here. If Ulberg wins my stupid $200 parlay on Bet Online, it's actually paying out $1,000. So it's stupid, but I still want it to win. Even though it's peanuts. Especially because it's going to go on my Bet Online account. I don't have to fucking figure out how to deposit cryptos and stuff, which it makes me feel like a boomer. I think it's going to be a patient fight. I like Walker as a patient fighter. I bet the under 1.5 in the Craig fight, and everyone around me tailed me was just sweating bullets. And I'm like, relax, boys, relax. There's a big moment coming. He's just waiting for his moment. And all it took was the first time he threw punches to knock out Paul Craig. And if you watch his early career, that's how we used to fight. He just fainted, did nothing. Then a flying knee comes, knockout, or did the wheel kick and then spinning. When he became more wild, he got gassed out quicker, got taken down quicker, and he fell apart. So I don't mind him like leg kicking Smith. He's so leg kickable. Smith said he's got some problems, like lingering problems with his ankles that got messed up in that fight. I feel like he's going to fall down and, quit. He's going to hold his leg. Rakic kicked the crap out of it, and that might go over on the 1.5. But ultimately, I feel like once he starts getting kicked real hard, he's going to start pressuring Walker, and then they might start brawling. It's kind of like the Ulberg dynamic. Nikolai was just kind of staring at him, trying to follow him, couldn't cut off the cage. And once the kick started adding up, he started becoming wild, and he got counted. So I feel like Walker's going to kick him, teep him maybe. And then Smith is going to be like, all right, I need to finish this guy like Ryan Spann. And then they're going to start brawling, and anyone can get knocked out after that. So yeah, volatile fight. I don't advise anything on this pick'em fight. I just lean Walker due to him. I like what I see from him. I think he's a bit underrated other than his chin. Smith is just also meh. He's lying hard, but I've seen him quit in the cage so many times. So, yep. I took the lead, but there's nothing to talk about, honestly. If Ulberg wins, I'm hedging my under 1.5. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, what I remember, and the limited tape I've done so far, I don't know. My tendency is to lean Smith. When's the last time he got knocked out? Literally last time. And Goliath last time. Before then was Glover Teixeira. Yeah, I mean, he can definitely get chin checked here. My problem with Johnny Walker, because he's younger, he's bigger, he's more explosive, he's probably going to be better on the feet. My problem with him is I just can't trust the guy. No matter what he does, he does some weird fucking things sometimes. I got to tape it much more. Like I said, I'm working off memory and half an hour of tape. My lean right now, honestly, is probably going to be Smith. I'm just going to be under the assumption that Johnny Walker's probably going to fuck up. Do you think Smith can wrestle here, Steve?
Well, he can, but I don't think it's that easy to wrestle Walker. If you watch his Nikita Krylov fight, which I watched way too many times, he's hard. He's hard to hold down. He's athletic. He's an athletic animal. And we've seen Smith contemplate going to middleweight after getting ragdolled by Rakic. He said it in an interview. But the guy's very mentally weak, He feels someone stronger than him, and he's like, "Oh, I need to drop down again. Like he's stronger than me." He's just not a strong dude. Who knows? I can see him getting knocked out with Travis Bryan elbows if he tries to wrestle Walker. It's just that much of a volatile fight. I don't think you should tape anymore because I don't think you will get any return for your hours wasted on this fight, personally.
I just want to say my bed, if you watch my videos, is always immaculately made. I'm extremely OCD about my bed. I have 2 animals, though. I have a dog that likes to fuck shit up for no reason, and I have a cat who likes to fuck shit up for no reason even more. So that's why my bed looks dirty, and you can see my dog actually laying over there, Mr. Spliffy, knocked out. But don't come at me for my bed. I'm a clean person, all right?
Chances Walker. Cut him some slack. He just had sex with his girlfriend right before the podcast. Fuck.
I wish.
Go to bed.
But Chances Walker can take Smith down and consolidate rounds. I don't know about all that. I know he submitted Kutalaba, but I don't think he's going to be wrestling Smith. I think that'll be a little bit silly on his part. The more I think about it, again, I have to tape more, but the more I think about it, I am leaning Walker now. I do think he's going to probably knock him out. I was looking at the ITD prop. It's not much better. So if you're going to play it, just play the money line. But we'll see. Like I said, Couch Warrior Pod, wrong way, on Twitter. That's where I post my bets. If I make a bet, it'll be there, and you can decide whether to tail or fade. And we can move on to our main event. We've got Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Jailton Almeida. Rozenstruik, 13-4-0. He's 35 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. He's not 6'2". We all know this by now. They botched his height for whatever reason. If this guy's any taller than 5'10", I mean, there's no way. He's 5'11", 5'10" at most. He's not 6'2". We've seen this time and time again. I don't know when they're going to fix it. 78-inch reach, American top team. Almeida, 18-2-0, 31. He's 4 years younger. He's going to be 1 inch taller, 1 inch reach advantage. And I'll start us off. I mean, what is there to say? Either Rozenstruik knocks him out early or Almeida dominates. I think Almeida dominates. I think on the feet, in terms of just technique, like what I'm seeing at range of what's happening, I actually still favor Almeida. Once they get close, if Rozenstruik closes the distance and Almeida's not taking him down, my cheeks will be firmly clenched. But I really do think that he's just going to take him down. And from that point, either knock him out or sub him. With Almeida, it's incredibly difficult to call a method of winning because he's so dominant on the ground that he can go for the sub or he can just go for ground and pound. It's up to him. So normally, if there's a really big difference, I'll just go with whatever the difference is. I'll go with the KO normally. Here, I took the sub plus 105. I took a half unit shot on it only. And other than that, I've got him parlayed a bunch. I think I have like 4 units staked on him. I really do think he's going to dominate Rozenstruik. Even against other fighters, I never thought much of Rozenstruik. I don't think he's something special. He has big power, and that's it. I have considered maybe putting a teensy hedge on the round 1 knockout. I'm seeing plus 1,000 still up. I know people got better lines there. If I did anything with Rozenstruik, that's what I would have done. The round 1 knockout. Other than that, I think we're about to just see a grappling clinic once again from Almeida. And personally, I wish Almeida stayed at 205. I think at 205, he had a much easier path. He's the best grappler there, in my opinion. Let me think off the top of my Ankalaev. That'll be interesting. But maybe the thought process was either Jones doesn't come back or he comes back and dips, because I think Jones would be a problem for Almeida. But outside of Jones, Curtis Blades maybe, and that's it. Almeida could probably run through the rest of the heavyweights, in my opinion, that are left here. So, yeah, I took Almeida. I parlayed him. I took his sub for a half unit, and that's all I'm doing. Steve, how about you, brother?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I shouldn't really be surprised at this point. I've been listening to your stuff long enough. I don't think Almeida's that good, bro. I think he loses to a lot of people at heavyweight. I mean, Shamil went over 1.5 rounds, and I mean, he's just another fat, unathletic guy. And he got up multiple times, got out of bad positions multiple times. And he's probably the best hand-picked guy you could have. You know, you see what Curtis Blades did to him. He looked like a turtle off his back and just gassed down in rounds 2 and got destroyed. And Jailton had a lot more trouble. And I think that's just because he's not that big. So when he gets on top, yeah, he's really strong and he's got good jiu-jitsu, but he just doesn't have the natural heavyweight frame to really feel like you can't get up from under him like Curtis Blades can, even though Curtis Blades, awful jiu-jitsu. I have this sneaking suspicion upon, I taped this quickly just because I thought I would, get out of the way and move on. It's a main event. I have to talk about it regardless. And, the first thing I thought, maybe the Jailton round 1 sub, just because the only time of anyone really seen have jiu-jitsu success on Jairzinho was Junior Albini, who I'm pretty sure he's a black belt as well. And, he had him like in a deep Kimura, actually had his back with hooks. Since then, everyone is just laid on top of Jairzinho. Jairzinho gives me these vibes of Lewis, right? That's why, almost 3 rounds of top time from over him and just sat on him inside control. And, what's his name? Curtis Blades the same, just sat in his guard and half guard. And he actually got up against Derek Lewis. And I just think people feel his strength on the bottom and they go, I can't really go for sub because he's going to explode back up to his feet, kind of like Derek Lewis. So they just decide to just sit on him and hold him down there. It was better than giving up position. And, the one takedown that Garn got on him, and he tried to get his back, instantly turned his back away from the rear naked choke. So I think he's improving. I just get this sneaky suspicion like, Jailton might get a takedown. Like he has on every single person, hot take. But then after that, he might just sit on Jairzinho. Jairzinho can probably push him off a lot easier than anyone else. Just the proper natural heavyweight, or he can just hold. If he gets into mount, he can just, get on all fours, turn his back, maybe just do the old Derek Lewis, make Jailton fall off him. But yeah, I just have this sneaky suspicion that it's going to go over. We've seen Jailton go over 1.5 rounds against Shamil. Luckily, I didn't play there, saved some money. But I have been playing all these others. Takaj.
I hit round 2 over there, plus
nice,
650.
Beautiful. Takaj, who was undersized, he survived quite a bit. I almost went to round 2. I was sweating there. A bunch of others. Another undersized Russian on Contender Series who's a middleweight also went into round 2. So I have a sneaky suspicion that Jairzinho could potentially get taken down here. We've seen Blades struggle with taking him down. We've seen Blades eat a big knee that shut his eye in rounds 2. This Jailton Almeida guy is a guy that lost the decision to an extremely chinny Bruno Assis. Right? I wish I could find that fight. I wish not only, fair enough, let's say he couldn't grapple Bruno Assis, but how did he not knock him out? Everyone that fights Bruno Assis drops this guy multiple times. So I would love
2018.
to see that.
It's 2018, Steven.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
Bro, 5 years.
I've seen another regional fight against Alcantara, which was 2020, and I just got some flaky vibes from him. When you can see someone's flaky, you can just tell, right? We haven't seen it yet, but something in my gut tells me that we will see it at some point. Maybe it's here. It's obviously a hand-picked matchup, a guy that has no takedown defense. But like I say, it reminds me of Derek Lewis. If he can get taken down, it's a proper big-size heavyweight. It wasn't as easy to control Shamil. Shamil also gassed. Jairzinho has cardio for 5 rounds. He was getting laid on until the last second of round 5, and he still had enough cardio to knock out over him. I lost money there, right? That's the most tilting loss of my life. It was like 2 seconds to go. And then Dan Mergliata, early stoppage as well, just to pile on as well. So, yeah, he's got power. If he can just survive, not get submitted, goes into round 2, I can see a little bit more tiredness from Jailton. Maybe survive round 2, start standing on round 3. He's a little bit gassed now. He's pressuring him. I can see, I've got a sneaky suspicion this goes over. And, I don't know if I want to play that round 1 sub now. Now I'm just contemplating Jairzinho. Who knows? Whatever, just $100.
I can't blame anyone taking a shot on him or his knockouts early. It makes sense. I think Almeida's a special breed on the ground, dude. Have you seen his jiu-jitsu stuff? It's very limited what you can find, but the stuff that I've seen, I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. You are, but to my naked eye, looks pretty legit, and he's kind of backed it up.
Yeah, I mean, his jiu-jitsu is good, but it's a lot of it is just his physical advantages. He's just a physical mammoth. But yeah, which he won't have here. So
why do you think he went up?
I don't know why he went up, man. Maybe the weight cut was too much for him.
He weighs 230 though when he weighs in.
Well, he put on a bit of muscle in the last fight, so he was 232, right? I think he was lighter than that before. Yeah, so he was he was 216, and then now he's 232, which tells me that he's fully committed to being a heavyweight.
Out of nowhere.
Who knows, man? I mean, look, he's a ranked fighter, and his first two ranked opponents are Shamil and Jairzinho. Doesn't it make more sense to fight a heavyweight than light heavyweight? Like, I think a bunch of people spark him. I think Raki sparks him. I think Glover Teixeira sparks him. There's just
really,
it's a much easier path to in heavyweight.
The title.
Look at the people he's fighting, man. He beats Jairzinho. They probably give him a title shot tomorrow. Like, they could, they won't. But I think Pavlovich murders him in 30 seconds.
They're gonna wait.
Pavlovich would murder him in 30 seconds.
They're gonna wait till John Jones is gone. And I don't think he would either. I would bet Almeida there if it was close or an underdog, not as a big favorite.
Yeah, you lose your money, and I think Blades would knock him out as well.
You think Blades would?
Yeah, Blades would knock him out.
So do you think he shouldn't have left 205 then?
No, well,
or you think he's just not going to be a champ either way? Not even close.
No, look, at some point you're going to see his fights go longer if he doesn't get knocked out, and then you're going to start seeing him gas from grappling for 2, 3, 4. I mean, how's he going to do in a 5-rounder if he can't finish someone? Like, that's my opinion anyway. I'm still waiting to see it, but who's he going to show it against? It's handpicked.
What do you think about fight starts round 2 at -110 on FanDuel? I don't know if you have FanDuel. I don't think you do.
It probably hits, man. At this point, I'm just going to play my stupid one takedown prop, which is like $1.30 on Neds for Jailton.
What's $1.30 for us?
I don't know. It's like -400. It's like
okay.
It's what Ulberg was a day ago.
Just one takedown?
Just one takedown.
That should be like -2,000. Yeah, that's
it's the same as Kaya Barrios against. They're always off. They're always quite a bit off. Except for Simon, Ricky Simone, he was like -1,000, and he was for 2. There was no option for 1, and I don't think he got 1 in the end. So
he didn't even get 1, right?
They thought it was going to be much easier than it was. So yeah, I'll probably just parlay that with some stupid stuff, and then maybe I can save my money by live betting Jairzinho, but Jairzinho can like land a jab or land a flying knee in the first round. So I just have this sneaky suspicion, man.
Jairzinho via decision. What is that? Let me check.
I don't think Almeida's making it to 5 rounds.
Plus 2,500 Rozenstruik by decision. That's not wide enough, honestly.
It gives me shades of Ngannou versus Gunn, which I played for like peanuts.
Dude, Ngannou versus Gunn was the first time I've ever max played, and I did it on Gunn, and it was brutal. The second time was Irene Aldana, and that almost was brutal until she got her practiced liver kick from bottom.
Lesson is don't max bet because you're not sharp enough. I've only had 2 max bets in my whole entire 6 years plus.
I've had 4. I've had 4 in my 2 years. 3. I don't know. I think I'm 2 or 3 years in. I don't remember anymore. This is my 3rd year. That I know.
One of them was Harry Hunsucker versus Tai Vasa, and the under 2.5 was the same price as the Jailton Almeida 2.5.
See, max bet it.
Dude, it was over. With the first leg kick that landed, Hunsucker started limping, and I was like, wow, that was worthy of a max bet. It should have been like $0. It should have been like Valentina Shevchenko odds or Nunes odds against, like just completely steamed. I could have been played the under 1.5 for better price, but I just thought I'm just going to put 5 units on the 2.5, which never goes out.
What do you think about the people who got plus 3,300 on Bryan Battle? It's plus 7 by sub. It's plus 700 now. You think they hit it, or you think it's some waste?
I don't think he submits Green. Green is a very good jiu-jitsu fighter. He's a brown belt or a black belt. If you see his when he's on his back, he can just invert. He's so flexible. He can invert and attack a heel hook from bottom out. I love that. It's beautiful. But yeah, he's not submitting him. I mean, Phil Rowe didn't. He will take him down though. This is why I'm actually talking myself into some Bryan Battle. But we'll see where the line goes.
Makes sense. All right, guys. That's the card. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Steve, for pulling up as always. Always appreciate it. This is my guy. He likes to roast me, but it's okay. I still like him. And yeah, so for me, this is late for my show. You guys know I always do Tuesdays. We're going to be back to Tuesdays next week. It's been whatever. Not going to say it again. Been crazy for me. But in terms of what I'm going to put out from here on out, I put out a bunch of shorts already on YouTube. If you're into that kind of thing, you want a quick 1 minute breakdown, those are up for, I think I did like half the fight, something like that. In terms of regionals, I haven't had the time because, again, I've been busy. I think Steve did Bellator. Did you do Bellator? I know you did KSW.
No, I did Bellator yesterday, and I'm finishing off tape to do KSW.
So make sure to check out Steve's videos for those. If I bet anything, it'll be on my Twitter, but Steve's going to do full breakdowns. He'll plug himself in a second, but make sure to check that out. Also, subscribe to his fucking channel. He has way too little subscribers. Get that done. Dude deserves way more. And Friday, as always, me and MMA Propaholic will go live on Twitter Spaces at 7 p.m. to talk props. Propaholic, honestly, man, I got to say, dude's literally 21 years old, and he's been pretty nasty with the props. So make sure to check him out too. Make sure to check out the show. And thank you guys all for tuning in and watching. Also, if you follow my Substack, or if you're not subscribed to my Substack, that's been on the back burner because of school. That's done now. Bringing it back. Going to put up some write-ups. Let's get into it. So make sure to subscribe to that as well. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you, Steve, and plug yourself. Let's get the hell out of here after.
Did you wanna address Big Bird's UFC Banoui versus Primus, since you played Primus?
Yeah. So this was a quick tape for me. For me, Primus, it came down to this. I don't think that Barney was going to submit him. Me and Steve were talking about this earlier. I don't. And when I was going into the Barniel Piccolotti fight, right, my original gut reaction was Barniel, and I think he was actually the underdog, so I hit him there. And then I was very concerned because the more I watched the tape, the more I thought that Piccolotti would find success there. And ultimately, it worked out for me. I don't believe I hedged, if I remember correctly. But just seeing the plus 300 on Brent Primus, to like, maybe Steve can answer after I talk, but I need to tape him more. But I don't see how Barney, I know he's very slick with the jiu-jitsu. I understand that, but I don't really see him just dominating Primus on the ground. I just personally really don't. And on the feet, I don't think there's some kind of crazy difference. If you look at the line, if I'm remembering correctly, Barniel and Piccolotti were like a pick'em at some point. And now you got Barniel as a -4 whatever favorite, where you got plus 300 on Brent Primus, which to me doesn't make sense. Who's he lost to, Brent Primus, recently? It was Islam Mamedov, which was a split. And then was it Benson Henderson, Steve?
No, he beat him. He got knocked out by Shabli in his last fight.
By who?
Shabli, the Russian kickboxer.
Oh, Alexander Shabli. Yeah, I saw that one. So, me personally, I just think it's a fight that could have been lined much closer. I don't think that Barney was going to submit him. Maybe a knockout. I know Steve might have some words on that, but for me, that plus 300, I do like it a lot, and I think it's actually back there. At one point, it went down. It got to like plus 250, 40, went back up. Let me check right now. Excuse me. Plus 350 now. I mean, look. I give you guys what I think. Go check it out for yourselves. I think plus 350 personally is a good bet on Bet Primus. I just put a unit on it. It's not some kind of crazy confident bet, but it's a fight that I think that he can win. And I think there's just a ton of hype on Barniu, maybe rightfully so. But to line him in a fight like this against a guy like Brent Primus at this price, I think it's wrong. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's just too much for a 39-year-old Primus. I think he can have success just because Banoui has like literally no takedown defense. He likes to just Adam Piccolotti was just taking him down super easily because he's just so confident in hitting his John Wayne sweep, and which he did every single time on a black belt in Piccolotti, and then instantly back take. And when he got Piccolotti's back, he wasn't getting out. He almost pounded him out in round 1, and then he finished him and submitted Piccolotti, which is impressive, man. It's like a levels fight in terms of jiu-jitsu. And Piccolotti, look, he came back and did the same thing to Mandel Nalo. So I feel like, I don't know if it'll be a levels fight because obviously Primus also has elite jiu-jitsu. But I just think, he's going, his wins recently, I mean, he's just beating a really washed Benson Henderson, and he just likes to play the guard game. He's always been a guard dude with some physicality advantages, and he's getting knocked out now. He got dropped by Benson Henderson as well, which is a massive red flag. And Barnaoui, man, his finishing rate is like 90%. Now, the only people that didn't finish is the people he lost to, which is Kevin Lee, Gamrot, and Buchina, and one more UFC dude, Makachev. There you go. And they didn't finish him either. So it just shows what level he's at. You might be able to out-grapple him for 3 rounds, but you're not finishing him, you're not KOing him, you're not submitting him. I don't think Primus is going to hit a gogoplata on him like he kept trying on Mamedov. So both guys are going to be on their ass. I think Primus is also going to be pulling guard. But I think at some point, Barnaoui is going to knock him out. He's got underrated power too. He's got big reach. He's getting wrestled by some 35-5 Russian on Road FC, and then he just ended up throwing a switch knee and put him out cold. And he's got a lot of round 1 knockouts. So yeah, he's 30 years old, man. I didn't realize he's 30 years old. When he took 3 years off before that, Adam, I also played him against Adam, but I got him a juice because I just didn't have the line available until he opened up as a favorite. And I just taped it so extensively. I'm like, this is a levels fight. It's kind of hard to gauge because he's fighting a bunch of bums on Road FC. But if you watch his earlier fights, yeah, this is a levels fight, man. This is. Hopefully, he looks improved after 3 years, and he just looks like he didn't even break a sweat with Adam Piccolotti. So, I just think Primus is too old. How does Primus win this over 5 rounds? What he wins another 5-round guard activity fight off his back, like against Magomed? I don't see it.
He might be the one on top. You said it yourself.
Yeah,
Barney with the takedown defense.
Yeah, he will for a bit, and then he'll get swept, and then the fight will start standing in second round, third, and he's going to get clipped. Yeah, I'm not saying there's value on Barnaoui, but I'm playing the unders. I'm playing the unders, and maybe Barnaoui KO, stuff like that.
Oh wow, it's under 4. I didn't even realize this was a 5-rounder. Oh, because it's in the whatever they call it, the tournament.
Yeah. Ultimately, I played the juice on Barnaoui against Adam because I'm like, even though let's say he's constantly giving up takedowns, at some point he's going to finish Piccolotti, and I feel the same way with Primus. He's got 5 rounds to get a 39-year-old Primus out of there. So
fair enough. But all right, guys, that's a card. I already plugged myself. Steve, tell the people what you got going on, and let's get out of here.
Big Brand MMA podcast. You're not going to find a more high-level breakdowns on Cage Warriors and KSW. No one even does it. I would watch the shittest podcast if someone actually broke down their shows, but no one does. So, yeah, I tape everything, break everything down. And, yeah, subscribe to my Discord. There's a bunch of people from here in the Discord, and give me some money. It's like $8 a month. We talk about every single fight on there. So, yeah, that's it.
Give me some money.
I deserve it, dude. I do this full-time.
I love it. He does do it full-time, guys.
I deserve at least $8 a month minimum.
But all right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate every one of you, and good luck this weekend. Let's get that bread.
Thank you, mate.